What is your opinion about the price of college tuition?
I think it's ridiculous.
I feel that the price of college tuition could be lowered a little bit. It is a little high. But I think that to get a good education, you need to provide the university with a good amount of money so they can provide what they do.
Actually, I have no idea how much I'm paying. All I know is I'm paying my parents a giant chunk of change after I graduate.
Like this college?
I think at Illinois State, it's fairly reasonably priced. Unlike other schools, though, we have extra fees with books and the rec and stuff that I think should be covered with our tuition. But otherwise, it's pretty reasonable.
I feel like the price is pretty high, but through I've worked really hard through scholarships to help my parents pay for it, and they're helping me with the rest.
There are 29.5 million people enrolled in college in the United States. Since the 70s, the cost of college tuition has risen drastically due to the inflation and governmental support.
This change has taken a toll on everyday Americans, causing the need for financial aid to increase. The B
Our B team
investigates.
Someone please save us college kids. What my parents told me is what I did. They said go to school and be a college kid, but in the end I question why I did.
And has support for college from the state impacted tuition costs?
Yes. And by tuition, I'm going to assume you mean tuition fees, room and board. Those costs have gone up in part because the state is not funding higher education like it was 20 years ago. And in Illinois, from 2002 until today, they've reduced higher education funding by $1 billion in inflation-adjusted dollars. So that is probably the main reason that tuition fees, room and board have gone up. But there are other reasons too, and the other reasons are also important, and they include the cost of goods and services that higher ed consumes, things like counseling services. We have a full-time psychiatrist now. 20 years ago we had a part-time person. When I started working at ISU, the most expensive equipment in my office was a typewriter. Today we have an entire computer network and literally hundreds of people that work on the network. We pay for software packages, antivirus software. Another reason rates are going up is unfunded mandates from the state. We are required to provide sprinkler systems in all residence halls, and the cost to the institution is over $15 million, and we got no support for that. This year, Veterans and National Guard scholarships, which we are required to provide by the state, and normally we get reimbursed. This year there will be no reimbursement, and it will cost Illinois State $3 million. Finally, some of the cost of higher ed is driven by discretionary spending, and some of that includes student demand. Students want major recreation centers, they want dining centers that provide longer hours, better food. So we're building a $49 million recreation center that 30 years ago students weren't particularly interested in supporting. Today they are essentially demanding it, and actually they voted twice to build the center. Students also, particularly high achieving students, demand better amenities in residence halls, and some of the renovations that universities all over the country have been doing to student residences are occurring because of market pressure.
This table shows the cost of room, board, fees, and tuition from 1977 to 2007, and Natalie's busy graphing this table.
First, I went to STAT and entered all of the data that we've found in the table. Next, I calculated a linear regression of the data. And finally, I put the equation that I was given into the calculator and graphed our linear regression. By using the table function on a calculator with our linear regression, we can predict that in the year 2012, the first year that we are in college, average tuition for a public year college will be $13,201.